what I've done, I've made this little chap. Scrap built bit of green stuff, and the idea was to turn it into a guardian idol, one of the statue dudes for the settlement for the Dawnbringer Crusade. Now, what I wanted to do is have a number of replicas, because they seem to, what they do, they have these guardian idols that sit around the settlement, they're all linked together, that cast like a protective barrier around the settlement. So I thought if I cast them, then I can have them all looking the same. I've done open casts before, but I haven't done two-part casts for a long time, so I thought I'd do a little bit of research, and I really enjoyed looking at the Miniature Hobbyist, his YouTube, and how he does it. So I'm going to replicate how he does it and see how mine turns out. So what I start with is a Lego frame that's big enough to fit my model in, and I've decided to go a little bit more complicated and keep the shield in. We'll see how that goes. It means it's going to be a little bit higher, so I'm going to have to go up another layer of bricks. So you need to make sure your layer of bricks is a little bit taller than your figure, so you've got enough the silicone to kind of encapsulate your figure when you're making your two-part mould. Let's have a go. Okay, first bit, getting my plasticine and creating a nice bed at the base of my mould, so I can press my mould into it. So doing little chunks, so I can play around with it a little bit easier. The great thing about the Lego is my kids have got loads of it, and they won't even notice me using this bit. So equally, it's quick and easy to construct, and when it's sealed together, it's not gonna leak out any of the silicone, or in fact, maybe the resin later on if I haven't done it right. So let's find out. So pressing it in, I decided to put another row of bricks just at the bottom edge. And what I want to do is get my edge, my base of my miniature right at the end. So that's where the resin's going to pour. And I'll just evenly press in my miniature into the plasticine just a little bit, and then make sure I build up all the plasticine around the miniature to all the edges, making sure there's quite a lot of detail, intricate bits. It's going to take a while. So I've layered up the plasticine. I thought about the character and I thought, well, what is the two parts that I'm going to do? So I thought, well, most of his head, and then spear and arm will be one part, and then this part of the shield will be the second part. So I'm just going to build up some Lego around the edges, make it taller, as high as you need to be, just above the shield, and we will then start mixing and prepping. Oh, I forgot to mention, I put some little holes pressed into the mould, and that's good for joining the two parts of the mould together. Okay, now for making the silicone rubber. What I'm using is Polycraft, the silicone rubber. It's two-part silicone rubber. Basically, it's 10 parts this, 1 part this. I got it from Amazon, and it comes with the silicone as well as the fast cast resin as well. So let's try and do this carefully. Just using an old pot. I'll go a little bit more because I don't think it's going to fill it up. Let's do 100. So 120 of that. So let's see if we can get this right. 12 of this. Got it. Then we've got to give it a big mix. Bit of a stink, but the kit comes with a nice little mixing spatula. I probably could have done with not using a box. Maybe a round pot might have been a little bit easier. But hey, give it a good swizzle around. I mixed it until all the bubbles were gone, and then it was an even kind of pinkish colour. Right, so I'm just making sure it's all down this end. And what I gather is when I'm pouring this, I'm going to do it from a fair height in here and keep it as even as possible. Hopefully I've got enough to cover what I'm intending to cover. Fingers crossed. And now it's got about 14 hours for the silicone rubber to cure. So I'm going to put that to the side, get on with something else. Alright, so the silicone rubber has set, it's hard. Now to release and see what the heck has happened. Try and do this without damaging anything. First bits are away. Now to take the plasticine off. So carefully. Not to damage anything, I hope. Take this stuff away. Come off quite well, but I don't want to break. Pull it out, so I've taken too much away. Just going to cut it all off. Right, now that we've picked away the plasticine, get that out of the way. Use that again another time. Now build up my brick wall. I'm going to go around it again. Who doesn't enjoy building a bit of Lego, man? Okay, same process again to make the silicone rubber. 120 grams. Activate them. And give it a good mix. Alright, coming in with some fancy imperial leather talcum powder. And a bit of a brush. And it acts as a bit of a releasing agent for it. Alright, now it's time to pour the silicone in. And then from a height, look. It was going so swimmingly. And then I realised that the bit of the spear was a bit bent and popping out. So I had to quickly do another row of bricks scrambled together, hodgepodged. Hopefully it will work, fingers crossed. We're still in a good place. We'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow when it sets. Alright, so it's set. I had to put it on a slant because it didn't quite cover it that side. I put the emergency bit on. So let's get it undone and see how my mould has turned out. So, managed to get the figure out. Lost some pieces along the way. Had to do some surgery, but who knows? I might be lucky. It might cast something. It might not. I think it's going to be a little bit of let's find out. I think the bottom line is my model that I was trying to cast was not quite as suitable for two-part model castings as it should have been, and I might have to think of a different way of doing it, especially stuff like spears and shields. But let's persevere, trial and error. Let's test this out, see what happens. So I'm just going to tidy the mould, get rid of any loose bits I see, make sure I haven't lost anything. We'll crack on. So I've wrapped and sealed my mould. I did it more than I would usually do with just elastic bands. I taped it and tightened it and layered it because I made lots of incisions to get all the bits out. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put it in a container. That's just to prepare in case there are any leakages. It's going to go in there, not all over everywhere. Okay, I'm using the Polycraft fast cast PU resin. It comes in two parts, part A, part B, equal parts of both. So I'm going to do 20 of each. Part B. And then literally pour one into the other and then get mixing. Once you think it's mixed, mixed enough, just going to pour it in a little bit at a time. Hopefully it gets into all the nooks and crannies. A little bit of a wobble every so often. So it's set hard. Right, nothing bad at the moment. Let's prise them apart. So it's cast. Oh, he looks quite cool. The shield didn't come out though. So I'm not that surprised at it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh wait, there's a shield, it's broken. Well, I've got a broken statue. I didn't quite get through to the rest of the shield. So let's see if we can get the rest of it out. The head crest, I didn't quite get right either. Fairly decent. Here's a closer look at one of my casts. Done a couple now. I haven't managed to get a complete one. I think the challenge was definitely the spear and the shield. Intricate like layers, and should have done them separately. But plenty of detail in parts of it, and I'm going to use it for something else. I'm going to use it as a broken statue instead. But yeah, very cool. Enjoyed it. It was a good learning experience, something a little bit different to do, a bit of fun, and I hope you liked it. I'm going to paint a couple up and show you.